How's it going, everyone? So today I got a new wildlife rehabilitation rescue, and this is a Eastern Garter Snake with a really bad eye injury. So I'll try to get as close as possible to the eyes. So a rescuer found this guy on the side of the road and had blood all over his face. They were nice enough to kind of wash the blood off. And of course, he's freaking out right now. So of course he's just scared. So hard to tell and get it focused, but this left eye is kind of almost not gouged out, but really crushed in. And then the other eye, I don't know if you even can see. The right eye, I can't even see the pupil. So I was trying to take a light to it, kind of see. I don't see the pupil. There's a lot of blood under it. So that means there was some form of impact, either from a bird or some animal, where this animal got into a confrontation. It's not a car, because a car would have crushed his head on the side of the road. So this poor guy is probably stressed out. So I'm going to try to be as gentle as possible. So what I'm going to do is get some Bentadine. Oops, going to take the syringe out. So the syringe I modified to cut, so there's no sharp tip. So the Bentadine is just going to kind of clean out anything that's near the eye or any blood that's left over, just to get any bacteria out of his face. I don't want to try to get in his mouth, even though the Bentadine is diluted. I don't want it to swallow it. But you can see there's a little bit of blood wash off, and I'll just take a Q-tip and just lightly dab the eye, but you can see there's still blood coming off of it. So I don't know if it's going to be able to see out of this left eye. So good enough. Thinking about this rescue, I updated myself on ophthalmology with reptiles and amphibians, because sometimes you do get injuries with snakes or frogs, and usually it's a impaction with an animal, a car, or a building, and they might end up losing the eye or repair itself, but it just takes a long time. So I'm not sure how much I can do, since this is a small animal. You can't really operate on it, especially with doing anesthesia with drugs. You can end up killing the animal. So let's move to his other eye. I was just trying to be gentle as possible. I'm sorry about the lighting. It's not great in my house. So just taking Bentadine and clean off that eye right there. So there's no blood coming out of the other eye, but there's definitely some force of impact that caused injury to the other side of its face. So when I saw the pictures of the snake, it was covered in blood all over his mouth. And they were worried about it had a broken jaw, but his jaw stays in place and it's open in his mouth. And they did offer it water, and it was drinking, but I am going to gently just open his mouth. And the jaw is looking okay. So, bad lighting. I don't see any cuts or abrasions in the mouth, and I don't see anything white or fungusy, which is great because garter snakes hibernate together in groups, and you have to worry about snake fungus, which kills snakes, and that pretty much would have been a no for this animal, and I wouldn't be able to keep it alive because snake fungus is contagious, and it would have been a problem. But there was a little bit of blood in his mouth, so I'm going to take some water, and this is just diluted. Oh, let me try to fix it. This is dechlorinized water used in ZooMed dechlorinator for reptiles, so it's safe if it drinks it. And then just try not to aspirate, just lightly try to get in its mouth. Good thing about snakes is that their bottom jaw is 2 bones. So I'm not even gonna, ooh, I lost it. Just gently put the mouth open. So I'm noticing blood right now, and I think because I just accidentally opened a cut in his mouth. It's not because his jaw is broken, because the jaw would be kind of like if someone was suffering a stroke. The jaw will be out of place and the snake would be trying to realign his jaw. They do something called like yawning. So usually when a snake yawns, usually after a feeding, their jaw is dislocated and they yawn to kind of put the jaw back in place. But I'm pretty sure because I just accidentally reopened a cut and the snake is bleeding, especially whatever happened with this eye right here. If this was like a bird that was starting to peck at it, I'm pretty sure the bird would have pecked in his mouth and cut his mouth open. So that I'm not too worried about. So sometimes snakes too, when they're shedding their teeth, they will end up cutting their mouth, which is crazy. So if their teeth are really sharp, I've seen snakes cut their mouth open right on their gums, which sounds painful, but their gums usually will close right after a bit. Another thing to think about too, which I learned really cool in ophthalmology with snakes, since they have that scale cap covering their eye, they can't cry. So just like mammals, we have a tear duct, or turtles too, they have a tear duct right on the corner of their eye so they can release that fluid. With snakes, like a scale cap is covering, protecting the eye like a permanent goggle. So their tear duct is inside their mouth. That's why when you see snakes with mouth rot, they usually have an infection starting around their mouth and it gets infected in their eye because everything's connected inside internally. But, hey buddy, there you go. So his mouth is flicking, so obviously he's okay. He's breathing. He's definitely upset. So I'm just gonna give him a break for a second. Just kind of clean off everything with water. Now this one, hopefully, in the next couple days, just watching out for infection, he'll start to go in his shed, and then the body will start to repair itself. Think of it like a Band-Aid. And that Band-Aid is going to cover his whole body, even though his rest of his body isn't bad, which is great. So I'm just checking him right now. So the other thing I did notice, it's kind of hard to tell, right on his belly, and this is something typical you're going to see with snakes shedding in a den and they're not in a clean area over time. He has a little bit of scale rot or injuries right down here, right down the belly. And I'm feeling right now, just in case there's any food, but I don't feel anything. Everything is waking up right now in spring. So everyone's getting out of hibernation. They're trying to look for food, so it was a warm day today. And I'm pretty sure he was looking for small insects like worms or frogs, especially the spring peepers are coming out. And I'm just taking bentonite right now and just kind of washing off everything around his eye. Okay, buddy. Hey, buddy. Yeah. So I'm noticing this lump right here, and their heart is not that far off. So I'm hopefully there's not another injury. I didn't notice. I wasn't squeezing tight. I was just giving a nice firm grip. So I know it wasn't squeezing at his heart. And the water, I didn't get into his lung because his trachea is right up front, but it might be blood. He's just trying to swallow. So I'm just gonna gently, just be careful with him. Okay, let's take a cotton swab. Okay, buddy. So there's not a lot I can do right now because an injury like this, if the snake ends up going blind in both eyes, you can't, give him eye replacements. That snake would end up just surviving on his own and relying on his sense of smell with his tongue. And people have found full adult snakes either from snake fungus losing their eyes or from injuries being impacted from confrontation with other animals or hunting. They end up losing an eye because a rodent or a piece of food ends up biting them back and taking out one of their eyes or both eyes. So the way he's moving is like if he's just he's nudging almost like he's trying to figure out what's going on, but he's smelling, using his tongue. So it's going to take a couple weeks to see if that right eye is even any good. And I'll see if a vet can check it out, but there's not a lot they can do if both eyes are permanently gone or one is partially has some form of vision. But I couldn't even see the pupil under, yeah, that, if you can see that left eye is, I'm pretty sure, is gone. So it's kind of crazy. I wish I knew what hurt this snake and caused that injury, but I'm going to guess it was a bird. So he probably got into a nest, and birds usually kind of go for the eyes first. If it was a cat, the cat would have ripped his head off and gouged him. So he's kind of responded to the light. So I don't know, maybe he has some form of vision in the right eye, which is kind of hard to tell because of the way he's moving his head. So that's it for this video today. So sadly, I wish I can give like positive news, like this guy's gonna be better in the next couple days, but this is probably gonna be a couple weeks or so to see if he survives or not. But I'll try to update on the Instagram page for Animal E.A.I. Oh, now he's stuck in my band. He's stuck in my glove. I'll update anything on posts on Instagram on Animal E.A.I. about this little garter snake right here. And check us out for new videos in the future for animal rescues or animal care guides. Take care.